This is the story of the largest scam in history of modern Russia, the fraud scheme, which had involved more than 10 millions of people. It's also a story of a person, Sergei Mavrodi, whose overwhelming ambitions was big enough to challenge the government and society in general. A person who slowly went crazy thinks he's Messiah. Before we begin, let's briefly recall what is financial pyramid, because that type of fraud is the main topic of this story. To be short, let's simplify it. The pyramid offers you to invest the money in the scheme, promising twice the amount in the next months. And actually, if you're very lucky, you'll get it. This will be the money of newcomers, who want to twice their money too. All this can work as long as number of newcomers is multiplied several times every month. It must grow like crazy to exist. And the longer it been going, the more people will be left with nothing. In perfect impossible case, the age will be the amount of people of the planet Earth. But of course, it collapses much earlier, sometimes without even one payment to anyone. USSR faced the deep economic crisis in the late 80s, which triggered the coup and the collapse of the country. The aftermaths are still there to see in all over the region. The coups and revolutions, separatism movements, looks like the post-Soviet space continues to dissolve little by little. The collapse hadn't brought better life. It was a time of unemployment, impoverishment and banditry. The police didn't handle it and sometimes was involved in the crime by themselves. The shelves were empty. There wasn't even the most necessary goods: sugar, gourds and butter. As if that wasn't bad enough, Chechen civil war will be soon. Like the light from the clouded sky, the pyramid appeared. It was called MMM, like the first letters of the names of its creators, Mavrodi and his partners. Mavrodi started advertising company with the biggest budget at the time. Most of it was TV advertising, which became iconic in the mass culture of Russia.
Куплю жене сапоги.
Это просто, Леня. АО МММ.
It was a series of stories about unemployed men who didn't want to work but wants a rich life. The impudence has gone so far that the working man had the image of a loser in the advertisements.
Ты забыл, чему нас отец с матерью учили? Честно работать. А ты тут бегаешь, суетишься, акции покупаешь. Халявщик.
Я не халявщик, я партнер.
Верно, Леня. Мы партнеры. АО МММ.
Behind the scene, Mavrodi spoken about people with the contempt.
Когда я ему ролик показал, вот этот, который мы сделали, первый по акциям, он посмотрел и говорит: знаешь, вот есть 5% людей, которые в состоянии принимать самостоятельные решения. Я говорю: ну да. Он говорит: так вот они нас не интересуют.
The advertising campaign was wide. MMM sponsored free transport days, official holidays, sport events and even beauty contest. The scheme was simple. Mavrodi was offering to buy his company's stocks, promising 50% price growth every month. Using defects in the law, Mavrodi registered his pyramid as a legitimate business. It was a joint stock company. People never heard about financial pyramids, and the stock market was new too. Probably people was perceiving it like something magical from the Western world. Maybe it was that magic which people fought for. First 100,000 shares was sold fast. Mavrodi tried to issue additional million shares, but at this point the government started to disrupt the work of the pyramid, and the plan got ruined. So Mavrodi decided to sell a paper with the money then print and his own face on it. This paper was no any obligations to anyone, but it was still working, because Mavrodi had a much important thing – the trust of people.
Вот там была очень интересная юридическая ситуация. Насколько глупый народ вообще вот это подтверждает. Что ты мог даже не поделывать, а просто заказать и печатать. Это даже не ценные бумаги были. Поэтому это даже не нарушение закона. То есть печатай. То есть это обычные фантики. Я причем это не скрывал, это везде объявлял.
The pyramid was growing lightning fast. MMM was getting $50 million income every day. The government was trying to find the way to close the pyramid, but the raw legislation, which was built just a few years ago, had no way to do that.
Вы как бы героин предлагаете людям.
Да, я предлагаю финансовый героин. Сажаю всех на финансовые наркотики. Но закон этого не запрещает.
А зачем?
А моральные оценки мне безразличны.
Public authorities were warning the public that the pyramid is a form of scam, but people didn't believe them. For an answer, Mavrodi threatened the government to make a national vote of confidence, again using the raw legislation against itself.
То есть я мог развязать гражданскую войну, и все бы совершенно по-другому.
Things continued this way just for a half of the year. During this time, over 10 million people participated in the pyramid. Finally, the government found the way to close the pyramid, the tax issues of the MMM. This led to Mavrodi's arrest and the police raid of main MMM office. This was the end of the pyramid, at least the first of Mavrodi's pyramids. Millions of people have been left with no means of livelihood. Dozens of people committed suicide. Hundreds became homeless. Mavrodi pinned the whole thing to the government, and many been on his side. Mavrodi declared that he wanted was to give the better life to people, but the government wasn't allowed him to make it.
То есть этот человек искренне хотел, чтобы появилось как 40% среднего класса в России.
Ну, в общем, не то, что искренне хотел. Он был очень прагматичным человеком, и он был самоцентричен. Он сам себе был только интересен. И нет, он хотел управлять большими делами масштабными.
This has led to mass protests. People demanded to free Mavrodi and return their money. Mavrodi himself found another defect in the law and got released. He was elected deputy, easily received required percentage of the vote. Soon the government found the way to revoke his deputy status, and he has gone into hiding. He showed up a few years later, then the statute of limitation of his main criminal case ran out, so he got just 5 years in prison. But that's not all the story. Another 4 years later, he started a new financial pyramid, and this time his personality became a bit crazy.
А сейчас?
Война.
Почему сейчас?
Сейчас почему? Там написано в Библии как? Антихристу. 166.
Ну, вообще-то у него число 636, немножко в свое время ошиблись.
Ну,
А вы верите вообще в эти сказки?
Нет, вы дослушайте меня, все-таки это достаточно интересно. 666, а там есть еще число 42, это, так сказать, 42 месяца будет править зверь из бездны. Ну так вот вообще, ну и короче говоря, если покороче, то в Библии все, что касается зла, в месяцах. Вот я решил, что вдруг 666 это возраст антихриста в месяцах. И вот 666, если разделить на 12, будет 55,5. Я вот решил, когда же мне исполняется 55,5 лет? 11 февраля 2011 года.
Ascetic. Empty room in the background. He continues to blame the government in all the problems. It's easy to become a hero in Russia in the age of Putin if you blame the government in something. So, new young protest generation loves Mavrodi. But something unusual happening also.
Как вы себя идентифицируете? Предпринимателем, мессией, карателем или еще кем-то? И почему? Каким там еще карателем, предпринимателем? Естественно, мессией, человеком, меняющим мир, создающим новое.
He continues to pick up religious themes over and over again.
На самом деле Бог есть, открою вам тайну. Я могу это доказать, как дважды два. Потому что мотивы все эти самые аргументы всех атеистов, это дарвинизм, там, что возникает вопрос, если не Бог, то что?
In his own book, Mavrodi called himself a son of Lucifer and continues hinting on his divine purpose.
Давайте. Ну, естественно, на апокалипсис попал. Я не знал, честно говоря, что это апокалипсис. Это самое. Они ужили, царствовали с крестом 1000 лет. А прочие же за умерших дальше идет, между прочим, не ужили. Вот это те, кто меня хулят вообще. Вот заметьте.
He spoke reasonable things too, on equality in society, on the debt trap. He mixes reasonable things and his unrealistic fantasies. He promises to destroy the old unfair world and build new brave world, where nobody need to work and all people needs are satisfied. With almost no budget, relying mostly on protest youth enthusiasm, Mavrodi starts wide advertising campaign on the internet. The new advertisement hero is a young guy who wants to do nothing and have a beautiful life, just like his father.
Денег не хватает, даже за квартиру заплатить.
Ну возьми деньги, потом как-нибудь отдашь.
Откуда у тебя деньги? Ты же на стипендию живешь.
А я вложил ее в доллары новой системы MMM 2011 и заработал дивиденды.
Almost all the Russian web segment was full of Mavrodi's supporters. It was hard to find a website without a discussion on Mavrodi's pyramid. Almost everywhere was a man or two who passionate advocacy the pyramid. All that ended up by people starting to call Mavrodi's pyramid a sect. Probably the main reason of the second pyramid's success was using exploits of YouTube algorithms. Almost every day Mavrodi's videos was on YouTube trends, even if they didn't have much views. Your humble servant contributed to fight against the situation by making petition. And soon YouTube not just excluded Mavrodi from the trends, but also deleted hundreds of his video and video related to him. New pyramid was built on principles of distributed networks. Mavrodi by himself didn't control the finances, and the power was given to regional offices. Mavrodi was acting an advisor and connection role, and all the offices' leaders had their own pyramid. It was simultaneously a weakness and a strength of the idea. On the one hand, Mavrodi bypassed the law again, and the pyramid network, outgrown Russia, has gotten even Africa.
Don't tell me you've not heard about MMM, some of you are lying.
On the other hand, the network was unstable. The leaders were disappearing with the money, didn't pay that they should pay. The media background was bad, society in general was skeptical. So, in the end, the pyramid found the cup and was torn apart by the greed. Looks like Mavrodi hasn't got real income and didn't really need it. The main resource he needed was the firewood for his ambitions. But even this type of income he failed to get. He died of a heart attack in 2018, being dismally unsuccessful and forgotten.